All right. I guess hello everyone. Joining again for this is Ninja ZC joining you for a post reaction discussion of the most recent Helluva Boss episode. Yeah, it's been a while, but we're coming in here with a lot of energy straight off the episode.
Been a
Join
while.
me again is from Random Algorithm Order, Carlos.
Hello, this is your Uber Eats delivery guy, Gator, by the way, Gummo. I'm just over here just giving you guys a healthy serving of all delicious meats and whatnot for whatever you need in this day. I hope you enjoy these lovely services that we provide over here.
Next up, second.
Hi there, this is the second opinion, and from a critic first, and a fan second, and a Zen master, and a scatterbrain, and a few other things that I'm starting to lose track of right now, new homeowner. Here's the second opinion.
And Jen.
It's been a while since I've had a cut phrase. Anyway, I may be first, I may be last. I may be in a weird kind of mood, and totally starting to talk like Fizz because his voice sounds like fun. But I am first and always Jenn. Oh, and thanks for delivering the Uber Eats. Thanks, Gator.
You're very much welcome there, ma'am.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
All
speaking
right.
about this.
But yeah, just to sort of give a reference, we're trying something different this format, and we're going straight from our viewing of the most recent Helluva Boss episode, season 2 episode. Which one is this? 6 or 8 or?
Season 2, episode 6.
All right. So yeah, this is, I think, from just to give a quick discussion, I think we can all agree this is one of the best ones in past few episodes.
Yes.
No, I have to disagree.
Applause.
It is the best one of the entire franchise. I said it.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did. It's now. It feels like Helluva Boss is like, I don't know. I don't know that je ne sais quoi of Helluva Boss is back is back with this, but also it gave us some things to think about with Blitz and Fizz, definitely. And I think that was much needed coming. Like, for the longest time, I had forgotten about, like, okay, what's the problem with those two? And then all of a sudden they laid it out perfectly right there. Like, oh, okay, I get it now.
Yeah, why the limbs and all that jazz.
Right, and why they hate each other.
Yeah, I mean, it's just basically a whole simple thing of, okay, like, dear-old Blitzo accidentally caused a fire that literally killed off his family and maimed his basically best friend / former lover. So yeah, that's
Wait, was he? No, they're brothers, aren't they?
No,
yeah, they're brothers.
I meant
Yeah,
like
the dad clarifies that they're brothers. Like, my son wants to buy your son. Oh well, he is the star performer here. I can't part with him for just any old price. No, your other son. Oh, him? Oh, I guess he is my son. How much you got in your pocket?
Mm.
Oh, I forgot about that.
I mean, I feel like it's like adopted because I don't feel like they're biological, but still, yeah, definitely brothers.
Well, to be fair, like half of his body is gone, so how much biologically related are they still?
Oh God, you're making loopholes. You're making loopholes, Ninja.
I mean, insofar as the incest concerns, we're like.
I mean,
well, this is Helluva Boss. It is Helluva Boss, and in the warning they say random demon horniness. So it's, yeah, I guess.
I mean, I don't. You know what? I don't want to talk about the morality out of this because you just know somebody's gonna bring up that the ooey thing about incest is that your kids have a 50% higher chance of being deformed, like, yeah, ooey kids. And so, but it's gay incest, or it's not biological incest, so is it really ooey? Yes, it is. Next question.
Okay.
Point taken, yeah.
All right. So, yeah, I just also want to make a mention. I've been having a big issue with, like, appealing myself to one of the imp characters, unless it was, like, say, Stryker, because you know how Stryker is. But Fizz, this episode was like, okay, you wasn't even on my radar yep, you're my favorite imp. Forget about these posers here over at IMP. You're my favorite imp now. I totally see the appeal now.
A striker?
Yeah, Striker is basically now bumped down to 2.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, Fizz really just went up and rizzed me up.
Wow, over striker. That's impressive.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, Striker's sort of fallen down. Like he's sort of become the butt of the jokes at this point.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
like,
Well, it
unfortunate.
feels like they're
but-
saving him
Got
up
it.
for his day even yet. I mean, because like this episode, he was the threat, and he wasn't not a threat. But yeah, this is like how they Looney Tunes their way around him to live to fight another day, less so than how he is so easy to actually beat. It's like, and I mean, he's still keeping his thoughts in play. We're still, coloring him in as an anti-royalist, an anti-classist to the extreme, to the point. I mean, quite honestly, it's hard to be too much that, but I suppose when you're taking it all the way up to murder, including of your fellow man who is not privileged, then yeah, you might be a bit of a dick about it.
Point.
Then there's also the fact that like this episode was like, let's collab every single villain or feature all the guy antagonists for Blitz actually. Or IMP as a whole in this episode. Like Krim was here, basically enlisting Striker with like recommending just because he was able to grab Fizz and Blitz from a brawl. Like, okay, I was just like so hyped up from that alone. Like, oh man, I got the juices flowing in me. I'm just feeling it today. Like, it was like so much energy, so much high octane action, so kinetic as well. Like, I just digged every single thing that they did for this episode. Also, basically fixed a bit. Well, I shouldn't say fix a bit. I think it's like putting like the character and story progression quite neatly matching together in a way that felt so seamlessly, yet wasn't interrupted or distracting to the plot. And I'm so thankful about it. It wasn't contradictory. It literally felt like it came into a resolution that actually started to repair one of Blitz's bad relationships he had with people.
Yeah.
Which actually could be a progress for him slowly healing himself from a lifetime of bad decisions and bad relationships.
Well, I thought we'd be talking, I would have gone through all the great stuff we loved about this episode before we got to this point, but can't handle how the anarchy comes out sometimes, am I right? So I will say that, you brought the neatness of the structure up, and like my biggest problem with this one, biggest and quite possibly only, is that it was almost too neat. I would go so far as to call it convenient, like the two of the mainstay villains who, are, heating up on the back burner, who are prescient threats. Like, they just happened to get together in this episode out of pure, like, hey,
I
mom,
feel-
boss, dad would want to hire somebody, right? And then, like, he looks out the window and sees the plot for today. Blitz has just so happened to run into his clown brother, and he decides to lasso them both because, of course, everybody in the room wants Blitz. And, I don't know, like, why, wouldn't they want the, lover of somebody important and powerful, right? And like honestly, that was probably where it hurt the least, because the episode almost seemed to make an inside joke about it, like, all right, prove yourself, do something useful. Huh? Oh, lasso, ta-da! Like, it felt like they did that on purpose a little bit, but like, Blitz and Fizz is opening up to one another, like as much as they do start where we last left them and uncork it for a full episode's worth of progression. Like, it's almost, there's no way around the fact that the entire night today, entire opening back up to one another and rediscovering that, old love and all that happens in one episode. Not like becomes a possibility in another episode and then happens. Like they have a conversation, a long one with lots of violence happening, granted, and 15 years of hate and bitterness and animosity is undone. That's not like self-contradictory or anything like that. It's quick is what it is. It's like it's kind of the contradiction that is getting everything you wanted to see happen. Like when it comes too easily, it's almost anticlimactic. You're like, yes, give me, oh yes, oh it feels good, oh yeah, okay.
Am I?
Is that it? It is?
Am I,
Huh.
for one thing?
Yeah, I know. It seems this episode has, rubbed off on me a bit. AO. But, yeah, it's like, it's weird. It's, 27 minutes of, like, lots of things that you would want to see happen, and, like, a nonstop, parade of that, for fitting it into 27 minutes. Done very well, but it's 27 minutes of something that would, normally take more than that because it would normally be a few episodes, most likely. So it's like, that's where I think that this episode has as much, like, good material and as much good writing as, like, the show's best ones, but it would probably have to, because I mean, I think it's clear to all of us we're talking best episodes right now, so just where does this one rank above them? And it would have to lag behind at least a few of them for me, at least a handful, because I feel like some of the other ones' willingness to play hardball, to play slow burn, like, added up to that much more of a satisfying punch at the end.
I mean, I completely actually understand you when you say that. I mean, like, I didn't want, like, the whole Fizz and Blitz relationship to be fully resolved in one episode. But at the same time, I feel like I think the reason why the episode came out like this might be because of, like, criticisms for the show for, like, how poor the last few episodes have been. Like, and,
Yeah.
like, I mean, like, I'm not saying, like, the Fizz thing needs to be resolved because it was, like, a bad slow burn. It's just been like bad writing, like, but if they wanted to like rush to like actually do something well, I mean, fine and all, but we don't want it to repeat. Like, let's actually try to fix that up and still do our slow burns like we were trying to do in the previous episodes, as to not disrupt everything, you know? I do agree with you a second. Like, you
But,
really did bring a good point there.
To go back to an earlier point, I won't say, like, I feel that the villains teaming up isn't sort of coincidence. I feel that is probably setting up the finale for this season or possibly next season, where more or less all the villains get together.
I mean, that could be possible, granted, but I mean, if this is the starting point of that, then it's like, I mean, if it's great and seamless in another episode, then that other episode gets the credit for that because it starts here as, of all the assassins Moxie's dad could have hired, like, and of all the people Stryker could have been, in the market for, even though he's supposed to be, what's her name, the Stolas' ex, like,
It's Stella.
Stella or something. Yeah, so now he also works for Moxie's dad because, gotta fit these guys into the picture somehow. I mean, I don't know, like, I mean, it's like, it's almost better that than you try to invent a convenient justification for it, but I mean, there's, if you were willing to take a little more time, I feel like you could have, reasoned that one into being, like, I don't know, dad is in the market trying to get an angle on his son by maybe seeking out someone who would have some inside information. I don't know, just, hey, they decided they were just going to go for it, and they, yeah, did it then, yeah, by deciding they needed to go that route, I guess they just decided to do it in the least painful way possible, which is the quickest one.
Mm.
He just does. He just does decide to hire Stryker.
Yeah, Stryker is if we still have the continuity of these two working together, I just hope it leads to like an episode in which we can end the whole Moxie and Millie against the whole Stryker deal. Be like sort of like a penultimate episode for Crimson. Like I feel like if they actually do that, but try to do it with like a bit of hints, like say in one random episode, then I feel like it would fix the problem of it rushing up like these two bunching together and possibly fast tracking like a conclusion for like Molly and Mixie. Moxie and Millie, sorry.
Yes. M names.
Yeah.
But I feel that another thing that's building up besides like Stryker basically being deflated every episode, but I feel that is definitely on purpose. I also feel like at some point, I feel in his final appearance, he's going to basically snap and do something incredibly stupid.
Oh,
But
yeah.
like he straight up might just kill Stella, just like being pissed about working for her, something like that. Or just something that's chaotic and just, but also like to basically reach the breaking point.
Yeah. I mean, making him mad, I could like is getting him to really get bitter about this, and he does, to be fair, in this episode say he's sick of losing these fights. So yeah, as far as like kicking his ego lower and lower, I guess that is true. Kicking his status or his threat level lower and lower, I don't think that like his last appearance was half the entire flippin' episode was just about how awesome he is, about people following him around, singing his praises for being so awesome, and then he does what no one's supposed to have been able to do when he hurts Stolas and Millie and Moxie together. It's like that they do technically win in the end, even though they wouldn't have even gotten there in time if Stella hadn't been an idiot. Like, that's played as this really big, really satisfying, cathartic moment. And then this episode, it's like the fact that they Looney Tunes their way around him. I feel like that blow is cushioned a bit by the fact that they also do that with literally everyone else in the room. It's like that was probably the most, proudly cheesy scene in the episode where there is absolutely no reason that they would stand there listening to this guy do this, but they do because it's funny. So, but yeah, everyone else does, and Stryker is the only one who actually is able to do anything about it in the end. And like, their best case scenario is not actually defeating him, but like, once again postponing this conflict they're gonna have to actually have with him for another day. So I don't know, I feel like his threat level is still there. The bragging about his hundreds of bodies, the fact that the dad did choose him in the first place, I do think we're still supposed to be intimidated by him.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I still don't doubt Stryker's, badassery. I don't doubt it. It's just funny when seeing all that badassery in that case for the episode Bested.
Yeah. Or evaded at very least.
Well, okay, maybe not bested, but point taken. I guess he evaded, but still getting him set on fire was, I don't know, that's got to go for something.
Yeah, it's like that's curious. Like what counts as an injury and what doesn't here is like, fire raging around never seems to bother them, but his jacket getting on fire to the point where he needs to take a few seconds to put it out, and then he decides that
stop, drop, and roll.
Yeah, and he decides that that's painful enough so that he's best recouping and coming back later than trying to finish it here. That's like, I don't know, you almost wonder if that, like, what that was, if he's actually supposed to have been that hurt by that or what.
I don't know. Who knows?
Mm.
But yeah, although, like, for what this episode accomplishes in itself, and I might point out, by the way, that season 1's 6th episode was also slam bang action happens, wrenching character revelations and reconciliations happen, and yeah, neither side makes major ends the party that they're fighting so much as they both get away on some level and live to fight another day.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So yeah, I might point out the similarities there, but
Yeah.
but I lost my train of thought. I was saying that oh yeah, what this one actually accomplishes, like his main accomplishment, seems to be that Blitz, having come into this season nursing one of the major holes in his heart, has just patched up exactly that hole, and that these two actually going forward seem good with each other.
Yeah, like it's definitely like something that's probably gonna need a bit more conversations to like really relay all that stuff that went down in that circus fire. Like,
At least
geez.
it's opened the door. It's opened the door at least to to more the ball is in the other one's court and everything. It's also really interesting. It's like how a communication breakdown, not just an accident, but also a communication breakdown, kind of led to the disintegration of their relationship, and that's got me thinking, what? It's like nobody told Blitz this, and they told Fizz something different, you know?
Yeah, that's almost the only revelation they could have had, so that this much bitterness could have been dissolved between them. That it wasn't
It wasn't deliberate.
well, I mean that, but it wasn't that. But you should be more sympathetic to me for doing the things you're mad at. You haven't heard my side of the story yet. It was that people straight up lied to them.
Right,
That
bingo.
both Blitz and Fizz, the main wall between them was a straight up lie that neither of them actually were complicit in.
Exactly, and that's what's got me thinking. I mean, when they had that revelation, that they both go, "Oh, I did the same thing along with them." Like, oh, and now I'm intrigued. I'm like
there's like an imp backstabber or some higher power that did not wait, could it be like something like, say, Mammon, maybe trying to find like an up and coming like jester?
Mm-hmm.
No, I'm just saying that's just a theory. Even though I don't think about like higher demons for doing something so minuscule for like the lower ranks like this. So I'm thinking like it actually would have to be an imp. Like that's what I was saying, Boxo. Like because it's like, did he die in that thing? Or if he didn't, was he just keeping them separate because like as soon as he saw what Blitz did, he wanted to make sure that he was never involved in like his more successful brother's life ever again. And was like spreading that lie. And drew other people that actually survived from the circus, just kept off that lie to separate them for good, you know?
it gets you thinking. It's like, why would people lie about keeping them, like purposely keeping them apart? Is it on purpose, or is it just an accidental communication breakdown?
They didn't actually specify who lied either. I mean, the only real candidate would have to be the dad, I guess, out of a desire to keep Fizz all to himself. Just like, okay, no more Blitz. Just it's an excuse to get him the hell out of our lives, and it's just going to be you and me making money. But then it's like
golden
okay, if the fire ruined everything, then like what is there left to be gained by keeping Fizz all to himself?
Like maybe going for like a higher power, because like that's really all I could think, like leading to the whole Mammon interaction with Fizzaroli. That's really all I could say. And that's why I feel like that's why we don't hear much about the father, because he's probably living it up somewhere.
Right. What if it was Ozzy?
If it was who?
Ozzy.
well,
Osmodeus.
Well,
Osmodeus.
the way I took it is that in general, people around him basically just assumed he didn't want to meet his brother he was pissed at, so he just basically said "fuck off."
I mean, there is also that reasoning too, and if they go with that to be non-specific, I mean, I can understand that general vibes from like a person who accidentally caused the deaths of a lot of the circus family and all their property and such, and damaging the main star.
Oh,
Yeah,
right. Oh, that could be maybe it's a conspiracy thing.
yeah.
Because maybe it's a
Although,
bit of a conspiracy thing. That way, if the father's living it all up, and then the circus and everything, and if Ozzy was the star, right? Then
no, you mean
then maybe they
Fizzy.
all conspired. Then maybe they all conspired. Okay, Blitz did this. Blitz let us take a solemn vow. From now on, Blitz is dead to us. Dumbo reference.
shit.
And if he comes back, don't let him through or something.
Did they say that Ozzy was dating Fizz during Lululand, or did that happen after? I don't
It
remember.
was after. It was after. It was after. It was not during episode 2. No
Okay,
mention
so
about.
I mean, if Ozzy wasn't in the picture, then like besides the fact that the only reason he seemed to care about Blitz one way or the other was like, oh well, I mean, my lover doesn't like him, so I guess I can't. So, like
Right.
he didn't seem to like that was the only reason he even seemed to know who Blitz was.
Makes
And
sense.
then yeah, and if he wasn't in the picture by Lululand, then yeah, it couldn't have been him.
Okay, okay. Yeah, I guess just like tossing stuff at a wall. I guess he was 6.
Yeah, well, they're leaving us to
That
guess.
makes total sense.
Mm-hmm. But boy. So, but yeah, you were saying earlier the fandom like trying to appease them, and what about this? What about that? And like, really, I don't know. Like there's a reason I always say critic first. I feel like fan complaints is like that. Like they there's enjoying the episode, but there's also like building the narrative in your head for what it should be, and like what you're looking forward to seeing without giving the episode a chance to potentially be like, no, we have a vision, and in fact, if we dare say so, it's a pretty good one. It's just not that. Like,
Right.
that,
Right.
yeah. So I feel like I am not huge on when shows try to engage with the fan base, and as a matter of fact, I thought it got pretty painful with My Little Pony, with them trying to like compensate with the sisters, like, oh, we're here to save the day this time. This time they get involved, like, after all this time, and then, we like being part of the action for once. It's like, okay, I mean, you guys realize those were just joke complaints before. Those were just, like, fans trying to be know-it-alls about a very common trope of, the royals having royal things to do, and the protectors who are the ones who have been gifted the protector powers for that matter. I mean, like, heck, the comics took a shot at, like, painting that picture a little better, and because they, didn't try to be like pick-me's, like, you smug jackasses, we want to be smug jackasses too, because they had Celestia allude to, like, the fact that she's still Twilight's teacher, and the fact that, they basically went with, okay, she's more of a string puller that recognizes she's not always going to be there, as opposed to, right? That was so lame. It's like, okay, well, now you just took it from, like, smug, mildly funny fan humor, said that was a thing, to no, that actually was a thing, which is like, okay, you're attacking your own storytelling now, so either.
I don't know. Maybe it shows that, like, see, we don't take ourselves that seriously, or.
It feels like, I mean, it's like one of two ways almost you could feel like, okay, either those old ones, written by it's not even the same writers too, trying to like respond to that one. So yeah, either you're yeah, punching down at somebody else's storytelling, or you're trying to be a pick-me, like, yeah, no, see, we're so funny because we agree with you. It feels ingenuine, is my point.
I gotcha.
But yeah, like, if you're going to do that, okay, and maybe this episode was, but yeah, I feel like this is a better way to do that in what it mainly accomplished there, which is not trying to engage with the fandom's logic per se, which is like, I mean, they're 98% of the time that way, just throwing things against the wall. So it's like they're either going to, yeah, find new things to throw against the wall, or they're going to be like, hey, you picked my things, which is going to seem really deliberate and obvious and cheesy in hindsight. So instead, what this episode seemed to do is it seemed to be like, yeah, okay, well, let's have an episode where, yeah, we do get to the stuff where it is time for some of the payoffs and some of the more instant gratifications, and just it's more instantly gratifying and manages to be that without any like major sacrifices to its integrity, like maybe a couple of like moderate or minor ones in the structure itself that to me just make it a little bit like I said, convenient, but nothing like, oh, well, you just changed the whole narrative of the show or anything like that. So yeah, the fact that this episode is just more like instantly gratifying than some of the other ones were, I feel like is probably going to, yeah, appease a few fans if that's really what they wanted.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So, I guess we really dug into like the meat of all of this episode. I think there's one more point that should be brought out, and that's the fact that like this episode wasn't focused at all of Blitz. Like Blitz was a side character in this episode. Can we just agree on
said
that?
the main character is in this episode, it's Fizz. It's actually completely, placed as his story.
Mm-hmm. And I think that was the real thing that really makes it feel, how should I say this, like a more lived in world, or at least different perspective that helps really fill out the world. Because man, we've been tunnel vision on Blitz's vision for so long.
True. It's either been Blitz or like the main three, Blitz, Moxie, and Millie.
I mean, Blitz is the main character. I feel like,
Boss.
yeah, the fact that these things do eventually expand, like, can get people sometimes to get ahead of themselves and how much you're supposed to step outside your, not even POV character, but still your main character's narrative. But, I mean, I will say, like, what it does for me, like, not only giving Fizz a narrative that, like, meets Blitz and then becomes one big one, but, like, actually staging the whole episode as his story that starts with him, runs into Blitz as a side character, and then diverges and ends with him. That like gets me curious. That makes me want to ask the question. It's like, okay, so where else are we going with him? Like you've introduced him into this as a character who can take the spotlight, who is worthy enough of having his own full episode narrative. So, all right, we seem to be expanding the story of Blitz's family. So now what's to come from him? Are we gonna, see more of what his life has been like how he had to bounce back to become Lululand's mascot and such? Are we gonna fill his personality in a little bit more, which they did for that matter, because like his past two appearances, like he was loud, proud, cocky. At Ozzy's, he was lusty, I guess. Like, yeah, hey, happy clown, happied his way into being a lust ring big shot, but like this one, I feel like they went directions with him that they didn't necessarily have to go. They expanded it and showed you things you couldn't have seen for yourself, like how he kind of likes being a what is with all what would you call someone who's all of these tropes, who's like a bit of a lapdog for their lover, a bit of a spoiled princess, a happy-go-lucky, but like in a lots of dogs on leashes, and yeah.
I feel like a
wow.
submissive like owner. Like
Trophy wife, trophy
Yeah, I was about to
girlfriend,
say,
husband,
yeah,
trophy
trophy wife.
trophy
Yeah,
wife,
right.
trophy girlfriend, just trophy,
Yeah,
just a
what do they call it? Where like if somebody is your sugar daddy, what are you to them?
sugar baby.
Okay, yeah, he likes being a sugar baby.
Sugar baby. Yeah, that's it.
He's almost like
There's another term for it. A kept. There's another term for it that I've heard. I've heard of a term called a kept man.
mhm.
I've heard of that term before. A kept man, but there's another one, sugar baby or kept man,
Mhm.
or trophy wife or trophy girlfriend.
Yeah. You know what he is? He's almost like the missing link between Paris Hilton and Harley Quinn, with like uh um a heaping dose of like um not sophisticated but like clean yet vulgar cockiness thrown in.
Yeah, the one thing I do a friend to bring up before is like I do like how they sort of showed the contrast between the brothers.
Yeah.
How it's like not like they're not equally talented. They're like just sort of opposite sides of coins. Um, like Fizz is like he is an entertainer comedian. He is very good at that. Like Blitz, who tries to be and just continuously fails. However, when it comes to killing shit, Blitz really is an expert at least. It's more so it was shown like more in time like that Helluva Boss crew are of the upper epsilon of like assassins in this
Yeah,
hell.
they really can. Like, yeah. I mean, they're not just in this profession because they like the sound of it. They really do. They really are above average at bare minimum in a fight, and maybe even better than that.
Yeah, because even like Fizz, like even though he is like half robot or something at this point, he is completely worthless in this fight.
Like,
Yeah.
well, I mean,
He gave him a
um,
distraction. And that was what he used his talent as a performer to provide a distraction.
yeah, well, I mean, like
Uh-huh.
he seemed to have no offense, but like his speed and his flexibility and his stretchiness seemed to come in handy a bit. He was like, um, he was using Blitz as a gun. He's holding a gun. Who's holding a gun? That's
Okay, so basically a non-combative Luffy. That's what you're
yeah.
telling me.
Well, I
Fizz
mean,
is.
like they have him like actually the very start was him versus a couple of henchmen, and it seemed like he was like 80% defense and like 20% tricks and traps, trying to get them to slip on banana peels and hitting them with stuff. And I mean, it's like it wasn't like they could just do whatever they wanted with him that mattered, but it was like, oh, I don't know, which is you almost wonder because like his first fight with Blitz, like not only did did not seem like Blitz won on screen, but if anything, it seemed like Fizz had the edge because even when Blitz straight up hit him with the bullet, like when Fizz didn't dodge it, he spun around and caught it in his teeth instead, and then you have that like intimidating shot where he's walking towards Blitz all big as the flames rage. It seemed like Blitz did not have the edge, so this is a bit of a surprise that they went that route, but it's like, I don't know if he's just like more not afraid of a fight than he is good at the part that's actually hurting someone. I guess that's what we have to assume off of this. It's an interesting decision, I guess, is what we're working towards here.
It also showed like how a snippet of like how they could work together. It gave the hope for maybe some more moments of unity or for them in the future.
Mm-hmm.
It showed how they could work together.
Yeah, that was not in sync. In fact, sometimes
The
it
fact
seemed
is,
more in sync
that's
than.
the thing. That could be the comedy of it. They're not in sync. They're not in sync. There could be, that's the comedy of it. You know, in every comedy act, there's always there's always the straight man, pretty much. You know, it's in every single comedy duo that you've ever like, you know, seen. Or you have one that's excuse me, you have one who's like the complete straight man, and then you have the one who's absolute insane. You know, case in point, Pinky and the Brain. One is a genius, the other's insane. Then you're with Fizz and Blitz, you have equal, well, you
Like
have
Moxie and Blitz have contradicted each other and gotten in each other's way. This was not that.
You have insanity with that bounces off and feeds off the other one. You have insanity that bounces off and feeds off each other. And this shows like their real other strengths too. And as you said, Blitz with the fight, and Fizz with the distraction and everything that I'm just shocked worked, but if for the joke's sake, it did work, you know.
Yeah. Like, I don't know. I mean, yeah, the conversation was like disjointed and stuff, but it seemed like the fighting was actually, they were working through that one pretty well.
I was honestly I wish I was eating popcorn all while the banter of them in the cage.
Yeah.
I was kind of sad that the banter wasn't longer. I can honestly listen to those two just banter back and forth for I don't know how long, because it's that much fun. It is that much fun to hear.
I'm just wondering something. Do you think Stryker's asexual?
Probably.
Like, he just only has one interest, and that is himself. Aside from that, even though he's made such easy appearances, causing everyone to feel sexy about him, he does not feel the same way about anyone.
Well, it's only abnormal in the context of everyone around him.
I think it's just a strong possibility. You may be right, because I think he's so focused on his mission, his thing, that that he doesn't have time or doesn't think about anything else. I think he's just so hyper focused on. I think he's just so hyper focused on his self-serving thing that, you know, he doesn't care about anybody else. And if they fall to him, then and if they fall for him or whatever, they're like, oh, good, something else to stroke his to stroke his ego, and you fill it in, viewers.
Yeah. Especially seeing him be disheveled in this episode. It's like why does everyone always go talk about sex? I'm like
in the real world, that would be a normal question.
Right.
Yeah, but
you are homeboy, right?
Very much so.
Like a Stryker asked that question and be like, really? That's the question. You're like, really, dude? He could definitely, it's a strong possibility he could definitely be aromantic or ace or any kind of ace. Like aromantic, asexual, definitely. Yeah.
I mean, it would make for a very interesting portrayal of said character.
I think it would make sense. If anyone says yeah, he's asexual, I'm like, I am not shocked.
Yeah, it's like
I don't already tell me something I haven't already figured out. But at very, 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 very bare minimum, scratching very bare, and I'm gonna give it like 10% bare, Demi.
Ooh.
That's I'm giving it a very slim margin.
All right.
Come again? What about Demi?
Demisexual.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
But I say that that's I'm more of the idea of him I'm more of agreeing with Gator about him him being Ace versus Demi. I'm thinking Demi's a possibility, but I'm giving it a tiny 10% possibility. But I'm more of the idea he could be Ace. Or it could be funny, be like, I'm not anything. I'm just really busy.
It's like work has my life. I have no time for pleasure.
Or you could say like, my guns are my.
I mean, there are those folks
Didn't
that
Jim
would be.
Carrey have a Funny or Die song about that?
What? Yes, he could be like, the job is his pleasure. That's the or wait a minute, he's like, I'm not anything. I'm a workaholic.
You're a big man with a little bitty gland, so you need something bigger just to fill your cold dead hand.
Oh my god, that's amazing. Tell me that's a real song, second.
Yes, it is.
Yay! Oh my god, amazing.
Boy. Oh, yeah, joke that starts out with he's on that show, Hee Haw, performing for Charlton Heston, who I think the only thing you need to know to get the joke is that Heston said something about, oh, if you want my gun, you'll have to pry it from my cold dead hand.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, that makes perfect sense. Yeah, I remember that. Makes absolute perfect sense there.
Yeah.
Even long after his death, his presence is still felt.
Okay. Well, on happier topics.
Yes.
Let's see, we had Stolas here too. They slipped in just a little bit of.
Stolas being a book nerd, like actually reading the context of contract and even being concerned of like, hey Ozzy, look, I know you publicly shame me and Blitz, but I wouldn't feel right just letting someone easily sign away possibly all their fortune and property and possibly their lover.
Right.
But, yeah, it's like Stolas literally did a good move.
I agree. I liked it that he and Ozzy were kind of like collaborating together on this moment. And Stolas left right at the right amount of time for for that scuzzy lawyer to get his.
Yeah.
That's my favorite kind of like characters or bros or whatever are the ones who are like, okay, well this is gonna go downhill and this man has earned his revenge and I'm just gonna sit back and let him have fun. But I think at the same time he's fantasizing he wants to be united with Blitz like that. So that could have fueled that too. So nothing like ill-placed question mark love to make a bro out of somebody.
All right. So yeah, this
Though they also did a little bit of his love for Blitz on how he never intended to force Blitz to be his lover with like a potion or something, and how he's gonna try to move forward with this relationship while Blitz got a brief kick in the pants, that maybe not a strong enough one, but a brief one to be like, hey, wise up, this guy's into you.
What about also one thing that I kind of lost something about was like I lost kind of sight of what Stolas was trying to do with Ozzy regarding traveling to the mortal world and everything. I'm kind of confused about that part. Like I didn't know what was he trying to do.
He was trying to get basically like assistance from Ozzy because like his agents have actually been the ones who've been able to legally enter the human world. So he wanted to get the similar permission for Blitz and his company.
Oh, there we go. Okay, it's just as I thought. I'm thinking now. Okay, this just makes me more of a Stolas fan. I think he's trying to kind of show Blitz that he really is kind of into him. That he really likes it. I think he's trying to show Blitz that he really likes him by doing this grand gesture for him.
Yeah. It's kind of oddly enough, like so many things just headed in an unambiguously positive direction this episode. You don't usually get that much, like, yeah, no drawback gratification from Helluva Boss, because, like, they seem keen to keep their nose to the grindstone on the fact that, life is usually not that easy, and this is some pretty serious stuff. But I mean, and I think the most out and out gratifying one that way so far was, again, season 1, episode 6. But that, like, they had to tear their way through some major feels to get to that gratification. This one was like, they established the major feels earlier, and then, like, this one was almost just the successfully working their way up to that.
I have another question about, like, Stolas and Blitz. Hasn't Blitz already, like, wanted, like, a thing to the human world ever since he was a kid when he first met Stolas?
First he stole the book, and then, like, Blitz started letting him borrow it, and I don't know when that was first established. Like, was it he was ordered to steal from the royals, and then he saw the book or something like that, and just
No, I think he saw the book when he was older, like when they first met as adults. That's when the whole book thing was happening.
And Stolas just lets him use the book, right?
Yes, like, and a part of, like, an agreement afterwards when he communicated. Yeah, that's what happened about the book. Nothing happened when they were kids about the book.
Okay. That cleared up something. So for now, Blitz is not in possession of that book as of, like, this moment in the timeline, is he?
I mean, like, if he's not using it actively, I guess it's not, like, the thing is, like, in the timeline, I think it's more like he has the book, but he's not using it. It's just only, like, in the Harvest Moon Festival or, like, any sort of, like, lunar event, like, once a month. That's when it's back with Stolas, when he actually uses it.
Oh, jeez, I just realized something.
What's that?
The reason that Blitz does not have the book, like, at any point in time, is that, Stolas takes it back for when he needs it, and then gives it out again with his favors for favors thing.
That's right. I get it.
You give me a night of passion, and I hand it to you. So what Stolas is doing here, I just realized, is he's giving up what he agreed to take for Blitz. He's trying to give it to Blitz for free for as long as he wants, and says, like, and say, I don't want it to be because I force you to.
He's essentially trying to remove the transactional element of it.
That's it. Yes. Exactly. You nailed it. Yeah, I was wondering if that was partly transactional. So yeah, I think So I was wondering if that was, like, him trying to prove to him, like, yes, I really do. I really have these feelings for you, and as you said, remove the transaction part of it.
Which, at first I was just like, oh, okay, he wants to do something nice to Blitz to show him that, like, no, I can be part of this relationship, but okay, that's big of him.
That's very big of him, but there is a big danger in that, and the thing is, poor Stoltz is catching feelings. So actually, he's probably had them for probably forever. He's had them forever for Blitz, it seems. And this is a danger to it. It feels like once Blitz gets a non-transactional way, well, I don't know, actually. I don't know if it'd be a non-transactional way without the book, because if it's beholden to Ozzy, then there's definitely gonna be another price. There's gonna be another price for him to pay.
I don't know. We don't actually know how petty Ozzy is or isn't. Like,
right.
I mean, because it seemed like he just went along with Fizz, like, calling out Blitz because, hey, that's my lover. Of course I'm gonna stand by him. But I mean, it was like,
it may change. And now with this new development with Fizz Blitz and saying like he earned it. Maybe it'll be something different. But my one danger is that, excuse me, we all know that Blitz is very self-serving, and I worry that poor Stoltz is going to get just tossed aside once Blitz has what he needs.
That does seem to be the problem still potentially on the table here, that like even as things improve for Blitz as he makes some leaps, like really, I wonder if they're doing that on purpose too, the episode 666 in the third season if we get there, but where he makes these leaps forward. But yeah, it seems like what's still on the table is if he's actually going to allow his relationship with a pretty nice guy to just be good. Like if that's the thing he could still mess up.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, well,
there's so many things that could go wrong. That could go absolutely wrong for this. And the thing is, maybe I'm being cynical about it, but I don't see anything good for Stoltz coming out of this. I
have to imagine that some conflict is going to come from Blitz messing it up, like whether momentarily or for an extended amount of time. I have to imagine it's going to come from Blitz messing this up again.
I think
the thing is,
I think Blitz is going to be like, "Mwahaha, I got this," and "Mwahaha, I got this," and I don't know. He's just going to leave Stoltz in the dust, or Stoltz is finally going to realize, or Stoltz is going to see, okay, this really is what will be awesome for me here. This is just me projecting. I'm trying not to be one of those fans that have, has their own, that has to force their head canon on others and everything. I just say this would be really fun to see. Would be like Stoltz kind of uses that as a test on Blitz, and once Blitz runs off with the thing, he can go back and forth with the to the human world, and his business gets better and everything. He doesn't need Stoltz anymore, and Stoltz kind of figures out yup, that's all he wanted from me. That's all he wanted from me. And okay then, then it would be fun if he's the one to kind of cut Blitz out and be like, you got what you wanted. You don't need me. Bye. And that would be sad, but at the same time, but on the inside, I'd be freaking applauding.
The thing is, I feel it's obvious at this point that they both have feelings for each other. They just don't know how to deal with them.
Yeah.
And the thing is, I do feel there will be conflict with this, just because the worst villain for Blitz is Blitz.
True.
So I feel he'll essentially try to basically. I feel the whole conflict is going to get his power, the ability to not need to buck and all that, and just sort of something else to trigger him to basically try to pull away from Solus, just to be he didn't need him to screw he didn't need it, he just tries to pull away, but so there will be conflict because of it, misunderstandings, and just, but I do feel it's not there's no big scheming here from Blitz. This is something he's just two broken people trying to figure each other out. So of course, there's going to be conflict, but I don't feel it'll be one taking advantage. It's more of misunderstandings and
right and
that.
Projections. A lot of projection on Blitz's part. A lot of projection on Blitz's part.
I think Stoltz is just using him and whatnot.
He thinks Stoltz is using him. He thinks Stoltz is just using him for exact the reasons that he says in this episode. And Stoltz is, in a way, yes, he is. In a way, yes, Stoltz is not, completely innocent anyway. Yes, he is using in the beginning. he is using in the beginning, but now he's making the mistake of catching feelings.
I don't think it's like the mistake of catch a feeling. I think it's the mistake of like the feelings like got messed up because of the transactions.
Okay.
That's really the thing.
It's the same. It's a possibility, yeah.
Yeah.
After that, he's having to deal with, not being able to live his own life in a kind of royal gilded cage, and stuck with a wife that hates him, and now he's finally getting the chutzpah to divorce, and now she's trying to kill him, but at the same time being a single dad to a teenage girl. Well,
yeah.
girl, demon, whatever.
So
Gojira.
basically, like Stolas is basically trying to get a second chance at life, basically, in hell.
Right. He's trying to get some footing on his life and have like at least. He's trying to get some footing on his life and be on the path to being happy. And one thing that's always great about it is that he definitely cares about his daughter, and he definitely cares about his daughter, and that he cares about Blitz, even as kind of screwy and misguided as it is, But as you said, two broken people, I guess. Two broken demons, a broken royal prince, and a broken imp.
But can they heal together is swiftly becoming the central conflict here.
Can two broken pieces heal each other? That is the question.
Yeah.
Indeed. We were kind of halfway through saying before, though, I feel like with, Ozzy and Fizz, because the last time we saw them together, we really weren't supposed to like them, and here it actually, credit that it took me this long to even think to get to that, because it was kind of smooth how they made us go for them again, and I think one of the big ones that might have been kind of quiet, but no less skillful, was like how much they were kind of ragging on Moxie and Millie for just, using their showcase to sing about their, sweet loving marriage and to try to get in their face on that. No, you gotta be lustful, and it turns out in this one that that's just their brand that they have to maintain, that in fact they're every bit as, Isn't it great to be into each other as Moxie and Millie are?
I mean, I think it's just jealousy and also trying to protect themselves at the same time. That's why they were shown as antagonists in the first place, which is great. Really does show how petty everyone's values are on like surface level presentation.
Well, I mean, I don't know how where the jealousy would come in, because I mean, because they do have a really good, money-filled relationship, but I thought that the episode is constantly having them try to hide how actually into each other they are beyond the lust factor.
I mean, okay, I'm just probably only inputting the jealousy part for like how vindictive they were antagonizing Moxie like in the episode, because
they made sure we didn't like them that time.
Yeah, because it's like, the reason why is because like they can't be able to show their love, and yet these two decide to do it like in the frontier of lust, showcasing true love. Like, it's a bit of a conundrum there.
I mean, even by Helluva Boss standards, they're not all good, but I mean, it seems like they're more likable than Ozzy's made them look.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Well, the whole thing was built up as like it's an open thing, their relation. It's like in hell, it's basically not looked down upon for like a higher royalty and beings to fuck around with lower ones, but like you're not supposed to really get in a committed relationship with them. You're supposed to stay within your class. Yeah. That's why Ozzy. That's why like Ozzy and Fizz are like everyone knows they're sleeping around, but it's like they're pretending that they're just a fling,
More of the
even though
same,
like
yeah.
it's sort of like everyone sort of knows, but just sort of doesn't acknowledge it. Until the end, where like he's like just screw it. Like if you say anything, like you'll suffer, sort of thing.
Uh-huh.
But like that's the thing with like Stolas is like Blitz is like a sort of known that they're dating more as a couple-ish function and not just sleeping around. So that's why it was more controversial. But yeah, this is one thing that's been I know discussed by people with Helluva Boss, like exactly what's going on with that. Because but then there's also like the other Beelzebub, which is just like doesn't give a crud. So it's drama, but I think the best fan theory I heard is like the specific it just sort of works with like the specific like race that is Stolas's the owl, like they're just particularly the stuck up kind.
Yeah.
They're
royals.
just like they're like not just roids, they're just like the mid tier like middle management who are just like upper management won't really like rub it in your face that they're upper management. They just exist. It's like, but like middle management's the ones that like make you know that they are your boss, sort of thing. And like that sort of thing is like I've heard like the theory is like the Stolas people are just since they're sort of like the middle management of hell, or like they're sort of in between. They're not like the upper tier, 7 daily sins, and then like above that is like the Lucifer.
The heads of the heads.
Yeah, like they're
Important
they can really sort of do what they want. Like you can smack talk them, but like they can in turn just vaporize you, and no one can stop them. So it's like they can get away with it, but like with Stolas, it's like they're enough like of an established like gentry that like like if you're breaking social norms, you will be persecuted and judged.
So Stolitz's royalty, the Gojira, I think that's what it's called. Is that what it is? Is that what they're?
The
Something like that.
Goetia, the Ars Goetia.
Or it's Goetia. Oh, where did I get Gojira from? Okay.
That's Godzilla's Japanese name.
Oh, Gojira! No, Gojira!
Where did I get that from? It's actually also I think a metal band too.
We
But,
probably got it from Godzilla.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Goetia.
Goetia. Do I have it right? Goetia, am I saying it right?
Yeah, Goetia. Yeah, that's how you pronounce it.
They're not the ultimate royalty over hell. They are like
The middle class.
so they're like hell's version of the middle class.
Oh yeah, definitely.
What, Stolas and those guys?
Yeah.
We're considered the middle class. Stolas is like someone who's rich and important, but like, I don't know, a House of Representatives person versus senators.
Oh, you know what that got me
thinking? Or a mayor versus a senator. But yeah, go ahead.
You know what that got me thinking? I wonder if they're not really like the rulers of hell and everything. This got me thinking about Hazbin Hotel. Now we remember Hazbin Hotel. Charlie is the quote princess of hell, yes?
Yeah.
She is the daughter of the devil.
All right. Now I'm pulling up one of the official like charts that breaks it down.
Okay.
And like how it basically works is like I said, they are sort of like the middle manager. So it's sort of like when someone's a duke or something, like they're not really the highest nobility, but they're sort of like the ones you'll see the most. And like that sort of thing like here is like the highest hierarchy of hell is basically like Lucifer, Magni, which is those two are the highest, and then below them is their daughter Charlie. And then after that is like the 7 deadly sins. And
Okay.
then there's the Goetia, or like below them, and then the Overlords are below the Goetia. The Overlords, like the we don't really see them much in this one, but like those are more in the Aspen Hotel, like the Radio Demons and Overlord.
Oh, the part where you see radio demons, that reminds me of Alistair.
Mm-hmm.
And then below that is like Sinners, and then below that is Hellborn,
Mm.
and then below that the lowest level is Imps and Hellhounds, which
Right.
this
That
one
would
doesn't really
at this
differentiate
point
between
be
Hellborn and Imps, but it's like one of those things where it's sort of
that makes me wonder if there's ever going to be like some sort of crossover with Hazbin Hotel and Helluva Boss. If at some point they're on some sort of crazy ass collision course.
We gotta actually
I think
see what
they will do
Hazbin
something like
Hotel
that.
does in its first season first.
Yeah, that's the thing is like I think they will do that at some point, even if it's like a more of a classic sitcom crossovers, like they'll just appear in an episode sort of thing, not really like a MCU crossover, but it's more of a classic sitcom crossover.
Right.
I think that's more likely, but the first thing is like Second was saying, is like they just have to get Hazbin Hotel off the ground first.
Yeah, like actually set up everything else that's going on for Charlie's pet project.
Right.
Yeah, because like that's like that needs to get its footing before you do sort of like little fun crossover stuff.
Right.
And yeah, talking about hell, like that show's still sort of in a hell of a like development hell.
Speaking of having a hell of a time.
Speaking about having a hell of a time, like I'm just feeling like all of these greed sharks, and I'm like, why are some of them actually looking like gators? And I'm like, they're not gators, they're just sharks. Why do they look like this? Oh! It's like I have like a bit of an internal fury over some of their designs because they're like too English to be sharks, and it's like, dang it, I know you're trying to be creative, Busy. Really, it's bothering me. It's like, dang it, it's always just fish. It's just fish. None of them are reptiles. It's fine. Everything's fine. Why is there no crabs in the freaking hell?
I'm just imagining a picture of like Cater, and he's got sweat coming down his hair, and he's like, it's fine, it's fine.
It's just, yeah, like some of my feelings about that. Like I was just feeling some sort of way about the episode, and it's not the creator's fault.
Yeah.
Certainly not.
Now I'm slowly starting wondering, like, let's see, who could I cosplay as anybody from Hazbin Hotel one day? I mean, Hazbin Hotel or Helluva Boss. The ideas just keep rolling.
I mean, right now I feel like maybe try to do B. Feel like you would do over the Mason B's. Yeah.
Queen B would be fun. Oh, by the way, tell Day Lover I haven't gotten cotton candy out of my head.
Do.
Like walking around today, I was like, cotton candy. I'm like, oh no.
That's sticking in there, isn't it?
Oh my gosh, talk about a freaking earworm.
It sticks like cotton candy.
Know what you did there.
Stinky sweet, stuck in your head.
Like cotton candy. Oh boy. I guess the top choices would probably be. I guess I got a top three. Top three would be Alistair, Millie, and Queen Bee.
I gotcha.
Queen Bee would probably be the hardest. Queen Bee would probably be the hardest to do, but Millie would be the easiest.
Yeah.
How about top 3 episodes so far?
Oh dear, that's the thing is that it's like you remember them, but then all of a sudden is you remember them so good, then you kind of forget about them after a while. Then you're like, oh no, guess I'm gonna have to cannonball them again.
Looking up the list here.
I'm gonna have to watch this show again that I absolutely love. It has made me laugh so much in order to figure out that question. Oh no, whatever shall I do?
Oh darn, right.
Oh,
Yeah, I do
darn.
agree with DC that this one is better than the last couple. I do think I prefer Moxie's dad of the two, his big debut, and like the one where Luna goes and finds Octavia by herself would at least have to be a worthy contender. But yeah, this one's up there. And then season 1, which I think we all agreed that the two best were Dorks and the first time that we met Aussies, and I think Dorks is
6.
tentatively still my all-time favorite. Actually, you know what? Moxie's dad is even a worthy challenger to that. That's one of those ones you have to take some time to realize how it's sticking with you, but that was an emotional episode.
All right.
But,
Yeah, like that's the one thing I said. Like that's why I'm hesitant to say this is the best episode of the season, because I really want to compare it. Because the two ones I always are this episode and like the Moxie Millie marriage episode, or like Moxie's dad episode.
yeah.
So.
And then when Octavia ran off on her own, I mean, I guess not all of us were like, yeah, A grade sold on that one, but it's considered, a heavyweight in this season, and I honestly can see why.
I mean, like I can respect that opinion. For me, I'm just like, nothing in season 2 has really grabbed me like this episode. Like literally 1 to 5 is now, it's like, okay, yeah, none of you actually grabbed me as much as season 1, except for episode 6 here, which I'm now like, okay, this episode is probably like at the top, followed by Queen Bee for number 2 on my list, and then Lululand / Dorks for number 3. That's just how I'm feeling right now.
Okay. Yeah, right now I'd like Dorks and Moxie's dad, which I guess that's Truth Seekers and X's and O's. They're my top 2. And then
Oh shoot, I forgot. Oh yeah, you're right. Like Moxie's dad's episode does have something that does possibly put it to the top. Yeah, yeah, you're right. I forgot about Chaz.
Yeah, there was a lot of that. All right, but yeah, okay, and then this one could at least like take a crack at the bronze medal, but yeah, it would have to. I said X's and O's. It would have to get through, I think, Aussies, which is still the gold standard for like the sad ending, gut punch, the bittersweet, heavy on the bitter. That was like, I mean, I don't know. I think all of us, I'm not, except maybe Jenn, probably felt for Blitz as much as we ever have at the end of that one. So, but
You're probably right.
but yeah, Queen Bee. This one might get through Queen Bee. It might get through and Octavia together. So I don't know. Come back to me on that. I feel like it at least has a shot at the bronze medal.
I mean, for me, the only reason why I have my favorites like that is just because one, Queen Bee is just because I'm a long-term Vizzy fan. So yeah, that episode has major significance with me.
Fair enough. Boy. And yeah, getting Kesha around so they could like finally get her to record some kind of a song that killed, even though I guess is it confirmed that she wanted Kesha to sing a song that actually already existed first, or not so much?
Apparently, I thought it was actually the actual pop star Kesha, but it's not her. It's
Rochelle Diamante.
What's the name? Sorry.
Rochelle Diamante, who is a very well-known Kesha impersonator.
Oh shoot, did I get that wrong? Have
No,
me invite
no
faulty
wonder
sources.
I'm getting Kesha vibes. She's a Kesha impersonator.
Yeah,
Well played, Helluva Boss. Well played.
yeah. I mean, aside from like Kesha writing the lyrics for the songs,
Oh, that's what Kesha wrote, Cotton Candy?
yeah, she wrote it alongside with other people.
Really? She wrote it?
Yeah,
Wow, so Kesha did kind of touch the song after all. She wrote it.
yeah.
Okay, so I
Wow.
guess I didn't read the fine print.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, I learn something new every day.
I know
So wait, did they
I
have
thought
to?
we knew this from like the episode 8 react.
For some reason, I did not know this. I am just learning this now. I learn something new every day.
Yeah,
So I guess
I'm
they just
thinking-
wanted a Kesha song in there so much that like they first wanted to use one that was already there, and then they actually hired Kesha to write one.
Yeah, aside from like getting her to voice act the character in normal scenes. Yeah.
Hmm.
It's just really what they provided, and it was like super mind blowing amazing for like someone who was a big fan of Die Young. So yeah. I guess aside from that, I mean like this episode like made me like jump for joy for a character I didn't think would be as interesting as they were. Like I just thought they were just gonna be a grumbling like antagonist, like who has a bit of like a hypocritical side to themselves that would like, be shown and then we would laugh at. But then literally just this episode was like, nope, they're baby, they're cute, they're slutty. I love that. I love that.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's legitimately like the episode that officially win me over and see the appeal of an imp in bed. Literally, after all the references for Blitz, nope, it was Fizz. That was the one that did me in.
Nah.
Aside from Striker, but then again, Striker is super easy. Fizz is the weird choice.
Mhm. Maybe favorite characters will be an interesting topic when the show is said and done.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be something that's gonna be eye openers and ear openers too for people. Since you can't really talk about the show much without getting into what you think personally on the private side. Just makes you feel that open.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's really what I feel about that. And then Lululand, just because of the opening song, along with like the emotional play with Stolas and Octavia. While Dorks is another action set piece, but I have it lower, like possibly just putting it as fourth because I already got the action set piece in this episode. This felt really good on that front. So I feel like Dorks right now could be retired and just be put as fourth place for me because I don't want to overstuff my top three with action set pieces. I don't want to be shown as that guy. That's just me.
Like, heck, I say like, a great achievement 4 times is a great achievement 4 times. But yeah, like where I prefer Dorks to this one is like the conversation between Moxie and Blitz. Like that had to dig deep. It felt like they were prying, like ripping the hard feels out of those two to earn the conclusion that they did. Like that was, I don't know, a more satisfying, cathartic payoff to me. And yeah, like since you mentioned it, it did also deliver the action goods.
Uh-huh.
But we both agree that they're like minimum top 4. I'm wondering if I'm being too like mean to Queen Bee because like there was the finding out after all the build up we had that it was just kind of an epilogue, but I mean it was a well written one and like in context because we saw Luna start to warm up to Blitz or like indicate that she's not totally cold to him in like season 2 episodes. The fact that, if I'm not mistaken, like Queen Bee would have been the only time she showed him any warmth to date, and no less it comes as Blitz's, I guess, consolation prize is almost the wrong word, but yeah, kind of his rebound on the worst day he'd had in all the episodes we'd seen him. His
Yeah.
like even at absolute worst. Like, yeah, Luna does actually value him on some level, and they can actually tear up a party together if it works out that way.
Mm-hmm.
Like, even hearing her yell, "Yeah, that's my dad!" Like,
Mm-hmm.
that was fun.
I hear ya. It's like,
Could be underrating it as a contender, but yeah.
yeah. I guess all in all, like, I just feel like for a lot of season 2, I really have not been feeling for like the writing for most of it. Like from the episode 1 for season 2 about the circus just being like an extended prologue up until like finally getting the divorce confirmation. Like it's just not been like sitting right with me, but like I am so glad. Like hopefully this might mean like next episode they don't try to repeat what they did with Ozzy's. Maybe try to go for like a different spin for like a shorter episode, because I feel like they deserve a shorter episode after this one.
Yeah. Like, or heck, maybe it could be like, yeah, fake left and yeah, juke right. That they yeah, act like, okay, something might come along and yet again ruin the happiness and challenge them, and then like, yeah, we instead overcome that, yeah, Herculean challenge and go into season 3 on a happy note.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Although, geez, we have titles. Like, is season 2 gonna be straight up long? Looks like they're planning 12. I mean, that's only long by season 1 standards, but yeah, it looks like we've gotten titles all the way up to episode 12.
This feels like Castlevania season 1 going up to season 2. That's just what it feels like now.
All right, so it's the halfway point they're choosing to reconcile Blitz and his brother. That's interesting, is all I can really say there.
Any other final thoughts before we move on?
We sure like to talk about this episode.
We do. It was that good.
It was such a breath of fresh air. Loved it. Have a new favorite imp. Puts all those antagonist moments like into a big recontextualization, all the way back to Lululand. Just seeing how combat ready the drones were in comparison to the actual Fizz, it's like night and day. So much fun.
Agreed. Oh, by the way, I just saw this on my feed. I'm sorry to be so random, but this is too funny to not mention. Have any of you heard of a thing called Cabbage Con?
No.
No. Does it have anything to do with the cabbage guy?
Yeah, like does it?
You are very, very close. It's actually an Avatar: The Last Airbender and Legend of Korra fan convention.
Heck yeah, Cabbage Con.
Dang,
Like, because the only other pop culture meme about cabbages is Persona 4. That's really it.
Oh my god, a Dachi-Con.
I mean, you would think they would make it a Akechi Con, honestly.
Oh, it's already been done. Yeah. It's already happened.
Uh-huh.
It was like a tiny little mini one of nothing but Akechi fans, and they were in their cosplay, and actually Robbie Damon stopped by for just like a few seconds. So it was just like a little random meetup. But the caption on the blog video was called Akechi Con.
Yeah, and now I just can't wait for like Persona 3 fans to finally get their standout moment.
Oh well, yeah, it's happening. It's. Oh, I didn't mean to hijack it.
Shinji-Con.
I didn't mean to hijack it. I'm sorry. I just saw this on my feed and it was just too funny. It was just too funny to mention Cabbage Con.
But I guess before any other thing we've all been up to. Because it's been it's been like a month since we recorded. So.
A month and a half.
Well, let's see. stumbled onto a free month of Paramount Plus, so we've been trying to see all the good stuff they've got on there. So I have finally seen both Top Gun movies. I honestly, I am capable of having affection, like nostalgic, for lack of a better word, for movies from before I was born. Top Gun 1 was not one of them. I did not dig the, almost try-hard machismo of like a bunch of, 16-year-old, poser. This is what Hollywood think that 16-year-old chest measuring is, and oh wait, they're grown men and women in the army. The flying scenes could not carry that movie all by itself. The sequel was amazing. So, that might be one of the best level ups I've ever seen between two movies. Which, I saw 48 Hours with Daylover, Eddie Murphy's big breakout role. Would you expect Eddie Murphy to be in a buddy cop movie for his breakout role? The role, mind you, that officially confirmed him as a movie star in like a role that's funny second and so gritty it almost plays like a noir cop movie first.
Yeah, isn't it called Beverly Hills Cop?
Beverly Hills Cop was later, and like there it's more overtly about him being funny and Eddie Murphying his way to victory, even though it still has ostensibly like a serious plot, a killer to catch, real risks when everybody's on screen. But 48 Hours, like Eddie Murphy's almost of the two buddy cops, he's almost like the spice on Nick Nolte's movie. Nick Nolte playing the most chauvinistic, hardened cop that you could possibly think of, or at least that this movie could possibly think of. It's like, I don't know, it's like borderline Sin City in a couple of scenes. So, but yeah, there is a great scene though, as poorly as it's aged, where Nick Nolte's like, all right, Murphy, you're not officially a cop, but we're making each other a bet here, so I'm gonna hand you my badge for this place you think you can get information at, because I'm so cocky, I'm gonna win this bet that you're not gonna get information here. I'm just gonna sit back and watch, because it's a bar full of rednecks saluting the Confederate flag, and Eddie Murphy goes so hard in the Eddie Murphy machismo that he actually convinces you that he could wave a badge around and scare all of these people into shutting the heck up and giving him what he wants before he messes all your lives up. Like that. Oh, finally saw Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure.
Oh.
Me and Slow getting to the classics.
Oh.
Boy.
What'd you think of that?
That movie's a decent, not phenomenal time travel movie. It's a decent but not phenomenal comedy. I think its secret is that as much as we think of the the dumb airhead characters from the Gen X kind of thing, the Beavis and Buttheads and all that, as much as we think of them as characters to punch down at, I think the movie's real success is that Keanu Reeves and Alex Winter are just so damn lovable in that movie. That they do all the airhead things and that is totally their character. They want to rock, they want to score the girls, but they come off as so genuinely sweet. It's I don't think there are any other airhead characters quite like that you actually really want them to win. So, how about that? Oh, and Transformers, what is it, Rise of the Beasts?
Yeah, I think that's the one.
Whatever the new one is, that's on there too. So a friend wanted to watch that one with me, and that one, okay, it's nice to have a Transformers movie that's decent and or at very least okay, and not whatever the Michael Bay ones were. But yeah, it plays like they were trying to go for another one of those things. Like, okay, this is a deep, prescient, like really hard hitting plot, and what they came up with was like, it gets the job done. Like, it feels like they didn't know how to anchor their storytelling there, and like the personal beats that they wanted to hit the hardest.
Yeah.
Like, it was interesting to have the story of how Optimus Prime came to like the humans ostensibly.
Right.
So there's that. Otherwise, I think that's all we've gotten to so far. We're trying to binge as many as fast as we can. And, let's see, like Elon Musk just topped himself in like ways to be an idiot, and I think gave a new group of people cause to legitimately hate him. So it's Thursday, or Wednesday, or whatever we're on. But the Steelers got their steals handed to them, so bummer there. Maybe I'll end up waiting for next season. And the world of boxing, like, it's weirdly that's still where it was too, where like heavyweight boxing could legit be a thing again. We could legit have another like, hey, this generation's Muhammad Ali taking on everybody, if only it hadn't buried its head in the sand and become a game of corporations nickel-diming over how many pay-per-views they can sell. Like, I don't know, it's like, it's so weird how the model for whatever is financially viable for everybody works. It basically seems allergic to having any meaningful contest happen. We have like, I don't know, 3, 4, 5 people standing there who should be like, they should all be like kings fighting over who is the true king. Instead, they just kind of keep standing there. So, still a big masochist being into that sport. Oh, and occasionally it crosses over with UFC to, apparently that's where some of the bucks are at too. We're getting yet another UFC versus boxer fight, and the sport is boxing, so guess what's going to happen?
What's gonna happen?
The boxer is going to win. Like,
okay.
Surprised?
Makes perfect sense.
I mean, I don't know, like, what is that as a UFC? I think the only time that's ever worked is when the UFC fighter just, like, took on a few nobodies, like, yeah, hey, I could keep going and get better over time and make a career out of this if I wanted to. So I don't want to. Back to UFC. Like, I feel like, we bought a new house, so I feel like that's a little bit significant or something. Or did I already say that one last time?
I think you said you were in the process of it, but not exactly cleared it yet, sort of thing.
Yeah, we're moved in, trying to get used to being homeowners now, unpacking, keeping the place clean, keeping it from not falling over on itself, so... I mean... what can I say? It's about what everybody promises you.
Makes sense.
But, oh, wow. Here's one. Did I mention I'm a seated Zumba teacher now?
What?
Yeah, I had a guy who handed out a couple of freelance Tai Chi gigs to me, like, contacted me last month, like, yeah, we really need somebody to teach this seated dance class. Can you do it? And I mean, like, I had no idea what he was hoping for, like dancing from a chair. I was like, what, so like strippers or something? And no, seniors who can't actually stand up. And it's like, so I just need to do like dance moves that you can do in a chair. Boy, well, actually, now that you mention it, that does kind of sound like this one Tai Chi thing method I tried to learn, this super simplified one before. Yeah, getting in cool with that organization went south because they kept moving the goalposts and trying to bilk people out of more money and saying that, oh, hey, this certification that we said you could have, you can't actually have it after this many classes anymore. We got complaints or something, so you have to pay us more money and learn more things. And that's about where I said, screw that, I'm out of there. But the things they did teach me, as a matter of fact, if you put them to music, they made for pretty decent exercise classes to help rejuvenate seniors. And now, yeah, a month and a half later of doing this, I have the gig permanently. They keep saying that they are really looking forward to me showing up there. So, my hidden calling was putting Tai Chi to music and doing it in a chair for seniors. Who knew?
Wow.
That or my secret is I just like made my entire soundtrack 50s songs that they're all really into.
It works.
Like, I discovered inadvertently that I really like the hop.
I got
Because
you.
it's what?
With the hop.
Yeah, that like they actually go really hard in like the tongue twister singing and the 50s piano, like shit, that song cooks.
Oh yeah, that was a bop back then. That was a bop.
Like, honestly, even now it's good at getting stuck in my head.
Be stuck in your head all day.
Uh-huh. Like, seems like a good place to cut myself off though. Been
I got you.
doing more martial arts training again, trying to get back into that, branch out a bit, find more opponents. So, beware the aging white kid standing a full 5'7".
Oh dear.
He's here to fight.
All right.
Fighting around the world.
mm,
She's fighting around the world second.
Indeed. I kid you not, I was actually an international champion on a circuit, which goes to show you how these amateur circuits are hurting for competition sometimes.
Wow.
dang.
But that aside, got sucked into J. Rose's series about how good Pokemon are in Red and Blue. It's strangely addicting. Run while you can, or you will be forever looking up your favorites and your curiosities.
For Pokemon? For the old school games?
Yeah, like they videos on like, can I beat Pokemon with just a Rattata, Magikarp, etc. Those took off, and J. Rose took it a step further by like scoring how well every single one of the original 150 Pokemon can beat Red and Blue. So yeah, and it's not always the ones that were supposed to be good for like competitive battling. Like Chansey didn't actually do very well for such a staple
Well, I mean,
of
Chansey's a staller. That's really a big problem. It doesn't really have much offensive or way to counteract it. It's not like Wobbuffet with counter or
well,
mirror
like
or mirror.
Generation 1, it was just a tank with
Yeah.
decent special attack, or acceptable special attack at least. But the fact
Yeah, I
that he
think the
had
thing with
It was special
I think the
stat.
thing with, from I'm not the most about Pokemon metagame, but I recall Chansey was more like when you would breed like a skill into Chansey, so you have Chansey's skill, then get what another Pokemon has more offense to it. I think that was like a metagame at some point.
Yeah, but then
yeah,
again,
like
we're talking about Gen 1. This is not breeding mechanics yet.
that's true too. But yeah, Chansey's thing was that it could soak damage, especially special damage, really well, and it could dish out special really well. But in the actual run through, like how fast it was able to do it, how efficiently, like how low a level it was able to do it at, I think it got he actually ranked it below Hitmonchan, who did not become known as anything for a couple more generations.
Hmm.
And even then, it was like Hitmonchan managed to be the king of never used a couple of times, if you know your tiers.
And you, yeah.
But it beat the game better than Chansey did on its own.
So, oh yeah, speaking about Pokemon, did you know that the Pokemon Company finally decided to reveal their own Yu-Gi-Oh?
No way.
They did a 4-episode miniseries on the Pokemon TCG.
Oh boy.
Let me tell you, it actually feels alright watching it. Like altogether, the episodes total 45 minutes. So if you have an hour to kill, go ahead and watch them because it's reminiscent of the art style for the TCG online game that they have on their site. But it's also really good, like old generation meets new generation. And like the main character's mascot Pokemon, do you want to take a guess at who it is?
Who that?
Like it's from the 150.
Oh, wow.
Take a guess on what her mascot is.
What is it?
Second, any guesses from your account?
Whose mascot?
A Pokemon is a mascot for like the TCG like miniseries.
Okay, so they're Eevee,
No.
Meowth,
Nope.
Charizard,
Cubone? Cubone?
Nope.
Abracadabra?
Nope.
Lucario.
No, I said from the 150. I said from the 150.
Oh.
We're not going new gen.
I'm running out of popular staples here. One of the legendaries.
Nope.
Squirtle?
Nope.
Bulbasaur?
Nope.
Pikachu?
Nope.
You said not
What?
Meowth, right?
No Meowth. No Meowth.
Butterfree?
Nope.
Coughing?
Nope.
One of the
Yankees?
Blastoise or Venusaur.
I already said no to the starters.
Okay. Jeez, this would seem to be an unusual choice then now, wouldn't it? Farfetch'd?
Nope, that was the mascot for Hatsune Miku.
Psyduck? Psyduck?
That might be
Nope.
a good guess. What else is popular?
It's not Charizard, right?
You don't want to
We
hear
already
me
said
just
no.
rattle off random guesses all day. I'm gonna have to throw in the towel.
Sandshrew?
Nope.
Ah!
Poliwrath.
Nope.
Machamp.
Nope.
Porygon. I don't know.
Nope.
Raichu?
No, I already said no on Pikachu.
Ah! Okay.
All right. Just say it.
Fine, what is it?
It was Oddish.
Oddish!
Oddish got the mascot treatment for once.
Are you
For
serious?
once, when was that even on the table?
I said from the 150. From the 150 Pokemon.
Oh
Yeah,
my.
that of all Pokemon, that's not even Bidoof and his stupid meme ability.
There's growing.
That's the most random thing.
Yet it really works out extremely well once you watch the special. Just trust me on this. Oddish proves herself very well.
I mean, the one thing that the original anime did manage to get out of Oddish was a certain ability to be cute, so I can only assume if that, does that factor into it?
Well, not just about the cuteness, but let's just say the TCG shorts literally take a cue from Yu-Gi-Oh! GX and about dual spirits, but also incorporating stuff from modern card game anime such as Vanguard or Shadowverse currently, with actually showcasing some actual text and informations about the actual meta. They don't go and sugarcoat it and be like, this is baby-fying the instructions. No, we're just gonna be full on blast the instructions in a quick 30 seconds, like in a very spurt manner, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And then showcase the different stages of a tournament play and such.
Well, sorry, Bellsprout. It's the fact that you walk on your roots. It's weird. Weird.
Word.
Yeah, but yeah, like aside from like getting to watch like that for like a surprisingly like a good thing that I wish we could have gotten more episodes of it, just like Mystery Dungeon should have gotten a full series. There was also like getting more information about Persona 3 Reload. And by information, I mean we got a brand new song.
Oh yeah, I've been
It's
hearing.
all going down. It's all going down, and it's beautiful. Oh God, it's so beautiful. And also being able to hear all the final VAs for like the rest of the main cast, and I'm like, okay, I can appreciate Ken. Karumaru sounds adorable. Shinji's amazing. Like, and just all in all, like, it just feels like the improvements that they're making for it is not making it look like Persona 5, but keeping it its own aesthetic, which I'm very thankful for. And the fact that you could be able to access like Persona 3 Reload on Game Pass for like super cheap once it comes out, it's like it's gonna be a lifesaver for a bunch of people who play on a budget. They can't spend $70 for it, you know?
I shudder to think what they're gonna charge for this.
It's like the price is gonna be $70 for the base game.
Oh wow.
Yeah. It's but hey, at the very least, it's gonna be a game worth that price, considering what they're gonna do to add stuff and play around with a new mechanic. They're thinking about possibly putting in Persona 6 with this remake.
When it even happens.
Well, I mean, we got a due date. We got February 2nd to be the release date for Persona 3.
Right, I'm talking about Persona 6.
Oh yeah, yeah. Like I mean, we're probably not gonna get information on that until next year. Like just
I can
because.
imagine like 20, I don't know, 2020 2024, not 2024, 2020, 2044. Like, we're still waiting.
Uh, would be quite the stress. Would be quite the long wait, like Persona 5 was for a bunch of people who were waiting since 2014, only for
Right.
the game to come out 3 years later in America.
So maybe this is 2023 now, so maybe we got till 2026.
Mm-hmm.
Wait a minute, that would make sense because it's 6 in a title. It's 6 in a year
Ooh.
on 2026. Maybe
Uh,
that's the reason.
Yeah, and then there was really like the totally not Mark review on Dragon Ball Z's like Boo Saga, which includes Team 4-Star finally tackling the Boo Saga for themselves
Mm-hmm.
in little bits called Boo Bits.
Boo bits.
Yeah.
But
That actually reminds me, this might be the most important thing of all I've been up to. Yeah, somebody made a video coming back, a couple of videos, a series of videos, long videos coming back at the Steven Universe hate.
Oh
Which,
yeah, hiding in private.
yeah, I didn't find out about actually the full extent of that until Cartoon Network put Steven Universe on their Mount Rushmore of stuff, and like right away a ton of people felt more than emboldened enough to come forward and say, "Oh, it's actually the worst show ever." Ah, geez, what? And like, it seemed to stir up a bit of a trend war, and I was like, "Yeah, wow, the Steven Universe backlash really had that much of a foothold? Was Lily Pete's video really like that popular?" But like, yeah, the guy actually connected 3 videos in the millions of views, like a couple of transphobes railing on it with their, you know, like already disproven arguments that, yeah, of course they're gonna make anyway, and they're, but so yeah, it almost seems like in context that Lily springboarded off of that to grift and to also rail against her, like, no, valuing your emotional health should not be the number one moral. The number one moral should be destroy your enemies, and like trying to headhunt the show over that. But I mean, yeah, if it really had that much of a foothold, and I at this point having seen that Twitter reaction and seen him contextualize it in his videos, I more than believe it does. I'm glad somebody came back at it. I kind of just wish it'd been somebody who could have more easily gotten more views. Because it looks like these are going to have to settle for a few 100,000.
Then again, Hiding in Private did do a lot of extensive work on personal projects, like an entire Persona 4 perspective documentary that's like over 40 hours long. I don't even know how much time he had to waste for it, but he did all that, explaining every single social link and all factors of that game. And I'm like, yeah, I just went and watched all the bits of the video.
Yeah, he might be, like, Hiding in Private himself might be, like, a worthy guy to do this. Like, I guess it's more important that the arguments are sound than the videos get, like, hella views. And I mean, watching through them, I would give him, like, probably an A-. I think he does a phenomenal job, like, shutting down the two transphobes. Lily, it seems like he's, like, relying on a narrative, just like the fact that he can build another narrative for some of this stuff a lot, but he does a pretty good job countering her too. And honestly, just the fact that anyone was able to and willing to the tune of a couple 100,000 views, I feel like that's an important swing in the momentum here, because like, well, I don't know, I didn't want to chime in on that one too much myself, because like cis white guy, there are some points in question where, I'm probably not the one who has the right to command everybody's attention, but like, I don't know. Lily always struck me as the kind of person who's an able analyst and a terrible critic for the fact that, she goes in deciding how she wants to feel ahead of time, like,
like
brings
right
her
now.
standards to the
All
art.
right, but
letting the art bring what it is to her.
But I need to be heading out soon.
It's midnight.
Yep.
So just to give a quick recap of what I've been up to. Doing some vacationing, go a whole bunch of theme parks in Virginia and Pennsylvania, and video game nerd-wise, I'm catching up on a few older series, a few new ones, and game-wise, I finally beat Final Fantasy 16, which was a really amazing game, but also I do understand the complaints about not really being a regular JRPG.
Gotcha.
I really miss a party that does more than just exist.
I had a friend tell me about that. He was saying, "Oh yeah, thank God they mixed it up." I'm like, man, that sounds like it'd be controversial, because like, I'd assume you want Final Fantasy to be Final Fantasy, and you want other games to be the other games.
I mean, it's not that the combat's bad and the story's bad. It's just like, it's very much not an RPG at times, or it's like, there's like, and I don't mean like it's always, you can have an action RPG, it's still very hardcore RPG. Even look at Kingdom Hearts, it's like everyone doesn't agree that's a JRPG, but like that's a action game. But with this, it's just like the whole setup is like how like you essentially your party doesn't exist except for like they're there and they occasionally add some support, but they do like 0 damage pretty much to enemies. So it's pretty much just you just action fighting enemies, and like your upgrade path is basically just you have the same basic weapon. It changes the aesthetics and just gets stronger when you upgrade it. There's no like going for fire damage or like going for like a strength damage or stuff like that. Like it's just like get bigger stick. The best way to summarize like the rebooted God of War games has more RPG elements than Final Fantasy 16.
Ooh.
Aw.
So is it more like a visual novel with some RPG element? Is that what you're trying to tell me?
No, it's just very much. It's just like there's not much party building. It's just basically It's very much an action game, but so there's no like. Yeah, it's just like hard to describe. Like it's very much more of an action game than a JRPG, and like, and I'm not saying just because it has a action combat, but it's like it's just sort of its setup is very much not a JRPG. Especially if I was coming off of the DLC of like Xenoblade 3. So like yeah, there was a very much that's a JRPG. And going to the so it's just sort of jarring, and I do get the complaints, but at the same time, it is still like probably one of the better games of the year. Mostly because if there's one thing people got, like the boss battles are just legendary in that game. And like in retrospect, it's sort of weird how basically Final Fantasy 16 is more similar to the original God of Wars, and like the God of War reboot has like more RPG elements than like Final Fantasy 16. They basically borrowed from each other because yeah, that like the original God of War, like a lot of that game is about the big epic like colossal boss battles, and that's sort of like a lot of what Final Fantasy 16 is. Like they are some legendary boss battles in Final Fantasy 16. But
I gotcha.
the overall great game, but I'm sort of glad I'm just sort of moving on, just trying to figure out what to do next, sort of thing.
For like a game, I mean, I'm just saying, maybe try out the Persona 3 Reload once it comes out in February. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, no, I don't have time for another. The only time I had time for Final Fantasy, like, I mean, not for Persona, was when I was laid off for a while and I finally got around to Persona Royal.
All right, I gotcha. Oh,
But
mhm. Yeah.
again, also I guess in general game news,
Mhm.
also Starfield finally came out and is good
Ooh,
apparently.
that's nice to hear.
Yeah, it's basically the good summaries. I guess it's good, but like it's not really many people are saying game of the year, which so basically it's good, but not the next Skyrim.
I gotcha. Um, for me, I basically finally found like an opening I've never found like the extended version for like the Pokemon anime in over 10 years. Like and it was the one for specifically the black and white anime for the N arc. I've been looking so hard and so long for the extended opening for it, and not just the basic B and Arrow opening. And I finally found it 3 weeks ago, and I felt so much bliss from it. Like legitimately, I feel like it's the best anime opening for the Pokemon anime. This one specific opening, like because it's so epic sounding, so hype inducing. Like is literally like the theme song I would want it to play for like my own life. Like when I used to be Unova Brony and such, like that was just how much feeling and enthrallment I got from like the opening. Like I know you guys don't really have much context about it because it's like, why am I talking about the black and white anime? Like when I clearly hate it and such, and it's like this was the opening that fed me the lies of like what I thought was gonna be a good arc, and just gave me like
Yeah, it is
something.
interesting when you just find those random old videos you were looking. You sort of forgot like how YouTube's very good at just. Oh, remember this video I watched 10 years ago? And then a lot lately. But yeah, I guess other news things to cover is oh yeah, the One Piece live action thing came out. We discussed this a little before recording, and apparently it's good, which we might react or discuss at some point because yeah, it's not terrible and actually apparently good and very popular on Netflix right now.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, we finally got a live action show that's being the talk of the town and actively like sort of like getting something akin to like the Game of Thrones hype back in its heyday in the first season. Just that's just how I feel like what's going on with the discourse for the One Piece live action. a lot of new prospective fans, a lot of people wondering about this property that's apparently the best-selling comic book of all time. It's like, yeah, and for all this to occur for like a show that like is very Looney Tunesy in its discourse to be able to be performing that well live action wise, it's like it's a miracle in of itself. Mm. Though I
But yeah,
would have.
that's
Mhm.
yeah, but yeah, that's sort of the main news stuff I want to cover. Just before I head out, because yeah, feel we have to adjust the giant rubber band man in the room, and also like, again, like it's all right. Yeah, we don't really cover games of it, but I feel I have to mention that Starfield came out, and oh yeah, I guess also Baldur's Gate 3, which is doing very well. Which
Mhm.
I've been watching a lot of playthroughs of Baldur's Gate 3, and you are correct. It's really good.
Yeah. There's
yeah, it's
also.
that. But yeah, like yeah, Carlos, when I say describe like I don't have time for Persona, that's sort of my thought. And like Baldur's Gate 3 is like I'm intrigued by it, but at the same time, I do not have the time to the mental space to put aside for something like this.
I gotcha.
It's pretty massive. Only do it if you've got time.
I hear you.
Mm-hmm.
There's also like a reboot news in Netflix in which like Bakugan has its third generation show out now. Like if you remember like the Bakugan Battle Brawlers anime from back in 2006 and how it had a reboot back in 2018, like revitalizing like the game like a multimedia fashion and actually made the game feel good IRL, while the show itself for Wave 2 was like kidified, like trying to ride off the waves of like how anime has been doing for like kids wise, being a lot more childish, a lot more westernized. Yeah, like Bakugan like has like a third show now, and it's like, how should I put this? They kind of made Drago look like a muscly dragon guy. It's kind of weird. Like, how should I put this? Like,
Uh,
yeah, like it's just quickly just saying like it's a show that happened. It's a show that's like, okay, poor first two episodes. Like this is what not to do when starting out a show. Give boring exposition and such, but then it works itself around to actually giving the main character, like the main character himself, like an actual flaw, despite him trying to do the right thing and still being held accountable for his mistakes. I never thought I would say this about for a Bakugan season or for the show in general, to actually have that sort of type of conflict for a kid's show.
all
So
right. Well,
yeah.
that said, I guess see y'all next week, or not next week, but hopefully sooner than this time. And I think,
Mhm.
yeah, I think discussing the One Piece thing might be the next subject, just because it is sort of like all encompassing, right? So like a big elephant in the room sort of thing. And I think it would be fun to sort of get our thoughts on that. But yeah, that's something like with an hour-long episode, even we just watched the first one together and got our initial thoughts. So that's a big time commitment we have to plan for. But yep. So until next time, see y'all.
See you
Ciao.
later.
Take care.
Johnny.